Well, this time we're gonna be outside the coffee shop. Just gonna sit out here, save a little bit of money, and you're still welcome to have your coffee. Don't worry about that. But anyways, yeah. So with my Starbucks being out, I guess I do kind of save a little bit of money. But I use the app, so like I've got like 30 something dollars on the app, and it's like, what now? Until it gets back, anyways. But yeah, let's talk about growing up, growing up, and growing up from kind of like an abusive situation and stuff like that. This may be a little bit hard for some people to hear, but I just want to reflect on like my experience. So I never really had good role models growing up, and I'm gonna try to treat this delicately, um, but I just want to let you guys know that there is hope, and just kind of give you the realization that you know it's every day is a constant learning experience, especially for someone like me who, like I said, never had proper role models growing up, uh, neglect and abuse and stuff like that as a kid, and now here I am, like 26 years old, and still learning every day. It really impacts the way that you see the world, and also impacts like how you feel about things, how you deal with your emotions. Like I always grew up being able to be very solid and bottling things up, and it really hurt me more than what I realized it hurt me. And as I've grown up, I've uh, I've began to realize that I want to feel my emotions, whereas I always blocked them off before, which is kind of crazy. So if you guys are blocking out your emotions, like I encourage you to be more of an emotional being if you can. You know, we like to feel happy, we like to feel loved. We also are entitled to, feeling aggravated and angered and confused and all of our feelings. We're allowed to have those. And whenever you grow up in a situation kind of like I did, you don't feel entitled to feelings at all. And things are very confusing. Like you don't know how to properly handle things. And I mean, I've dealt with that a lot. Like it's hard to express myself in a lot of ways. One thing that I like to do to express myself is obviously being here with you guys, having coffee in my mornings, and you know, I I love dogs. Like I'm a certified dog trainer, so I got involved with animal science and stuff like that. I also got involved with like computers, so I like technology and I like to learn and stuff like that. I'm also very involved with music, so I have like these little outlets that really help me. Speaking of dog, my German Shepherd, she just got off the couch and kind of did the. I don't know if you guys could hear her collar going off, but yeah. Well, not going off, but jing 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 jing, jing. The little tag. Anyways, so it's kind of hard for us growing up, especially like to be able to function as normal adults. Um, and of course, like I said, I'm still working on that every day, but I just want to let you know that you're not alone, that you're entitled to your feelings. Please try to get involved with therapy and try to just kind of like express yourself in all these different ways, every manner. Don't be afraid to express yourself. Don't be afraid to be yourself. That's also a whole other thing that maybe I should touch on. You know, growing up in that situation, it was very tough for me to know who I was. Like I never knew myself. I never had the chance to know myself. I was lost. I I was always in survival mode. And even after I got out of that situation, I still felt like I was in survival mode because that was the only thing that I ever knew. And since I was in that survival mode, and then I was also around toxic situations for so long, toxic situations seemed normal to me. So it was kind of interesting, like my relationships, as I reflect back on things that I thought was normal. Looking back now, they weren't normal. I I was in some very toxic relationships. I was involved with some toxic people. I was around toxic people that were not healthy for me and were not good for me. So I want to help you, encourage you guys, if you feel like, you're confused, or you feel like you're being manipulated, or you have no idea at all, which I didn't know for a long time. I I want you to know that it's okay to feel confused. And I wish that you weren't in these situations. And maybe some of the things that I say are kind of hitting home. It's kind of interesting to kind of wrap your mind around that. Yeah, everything was normal because toxicity was the only thing I knew. So getting out of toxicity was outside of my comfort zone. Like I didn't know how to be in a healthy situation. I didn't know how to be a healthy person. I didn't know how to have more self-esteem. I didn't know what it was like to be treated with love and care, and to love myself. And that's a lot of things to kind of grasp with. And it's very difficult. So if you guys are in an abusive situation, also realize, like, because you grew up in these situations, things that seem normal to you may not seem normal to a normal person as well. So while you may be around like manipulative or toxic people, don't forget that you also have things to work on as well. But don't hold yourself accountable, but don't hold yourself responsible. You know what I mean? Like, don't beat yourself up over it. Just take every day, day by day, and try to learn a little bit, and be open to learning. Because if you're not willing to, for instance, learn or talk about things with, for example, a therapist, it's hard to recognize or have like another point of view on things. I was always pretty good about being like self-reflective and then trying to be that person that fixes things, especially whenever it comes to things about myself. So I was always like, I always held myself very accountable. And I mean, I didn't always like, I wasn't always able to recognize everything, but I did work on little things every single day. Every single day. Like, I worked on it. And I'm still working on myself every single day. And I do go to therapy, and I do like try to use these resources to help and talk. And I'm, you know, I'm working on things myself. So, uh, really, I'm speaking from experience, and, you know, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. And I want to thank you so much for being here, having this coffee, listen to me, and then, you know, thank you for being there next time. I'll see you in the next conversation. I know this was a lot to have this morning, but, you know, it's good. It's good to talk about, and I hope that it helps you and motivates you to just see things through like someone else's perspective, to hear their story, and maybe to give you a little insight, maybe to help you make a decision whether to go to therapy or not, or whether to, I don't know, or identify certain things that you've been kind of like, oh wow, I didn't realize that growing up around toxicity that I'm in a toxic situation right now, you know, because I just found that normal, you know, or maybe it'll prompt you to Google or like reach out to somebody and be like, hey, is this normal behavior? Are these things like normal? You know? And don't ever feel like you're like completely alone. That's okay. That's okay. And if you ever need anyone to talk to, please feel free to leave a comment, and I'll be happy to talk with you. I mean, I'm not like a therapist or counselor or anything myself. I have taken counseling and psychology courses as part of like my degree, obviously, but you know, don't rely on me to be that, but you can rely on me to be a friend. And I'll see you next time. Mwah.